Hi, and welcome to Straight Shot Radio. My name is Johnny Slick, and I'm the founder and head coach at Straight Shot Training, a personal training company dedicated to helping people of all fitness levels move better, feel better, and live better with progressive, functional strength and conditioning workouts. Squid Game is set to be the most watched show in Netflix's history and has sparked a flood of memes, parodies, and discussions all over the internet. Personally, I loved the show, and I've been thinking about it nonstop since my wife and I finished the series. But the other day, I was thinking about Squid Game and how one of the challenges in the show reminds me a lot of working towards a fitness goal. And it's probably not one of the challenges in the show that you would suspect I'd be talking about today if you've seen the show. Now, before we get into the episode today, though, I want to invite you out to our brand new personal training studio located at 8411 Broadband Drive, Suite E in Frederick, Maryland. Straight Shot Training opens up our doors Wednesday the 13th with semi-private personal training sessions Monday through Friday at 6, 7, 8, and 9 a.m., noon, and 4:30, 5:30, and 6:30 p.m., plus Saturdays at 9 and 10 a.m. We have openings as well for one-on-one personal training sessions throughout the day and throughout the week. Now, I'll be there pretty much all the time, and my coaches are helping me with the majority of the sessions, so I would love it if you just stopped by. Just come in, say hello, see the space, and see the community that we are building there of people of all fitness levels looking to build strength and confidence with progressive workouts led by focused coaches in a private gym atmosphere. Again, that's 8411 Broadband Drive, Suite E, or you can just Google Straight Shot Training and get directions there. If you would like to let me know that you're stopping by at some point, just shoot me a message on social media using the handle @StraightShotTraining, or email me, johnny@straightshottraining.com, or just visit our website, straightshottraining.com, and just let me know you want to come by and see the space. I'd love to see you there. Now, if you would like to work with us and you're not in the Frederick area, you can also train with us at either Kinetics Physiotherapy and Performance in Mount Holly, North Carolina, or you can just work with us online. You can work with one of my awesome coaches online no matter where in the world you live. And I'm talking to you, Australia, Canada, India, and Romania. Thanks for listening to this show. I really appreciate you all tuning in. All right, so let's go ahead and cue some of that creepy Squid Game music and get into how fitness is a lot like one of the challenges from Squid Game. Now, if you haven't seen Squid Game yet, there are some mild spoilers ahead, although I'm not going to mention any characters by name or reveal any huge plot things, but just a heads up, obviously, I'm going to be talking about the show if you haven't seen it yet. So to quickly summarize the overall plot of Squid Game, the Netflix series centers on this contest where there are 456 players drawn from different walks of life, but are all each deeply in debt, and they are in this contest to play a set of children's games with deadly penalties for losing. And they're doing this for the chance to win a prize that's equal to around $38 million at the start. Now, the game that I'm talking about today happened in episode 3. The third episode of Squid Game is all about Popgi, a game in which kids use needles to try to pick away at these shapes that are stamped into brittle dalgona or popgi, which is like a toffee-style treat. And popgi means to pick in Korean. Meanwhile, dalgona means sweet. And I know I'm probably not pronouncing those correctly, so I apologize. But the game here was simple. You would just use the needle and your fingers to break away the edges of the toffee while keeping your shape intact. Now, if you break or crack any part of your shape, you were terminally eliminated from the game. I know that a lot of people listen to the podcast along with maybe their kids, so I don't want to get too graphic, but it's a very violent show. So to start the game, each contestant picked a shape, either a star, a circle, a triangle, or an umbrella. But they had to pick the shape before they knew what game they were playing. So it's not like they knew that this was coming, so of course everybody would pick the circle or the triangle because those are the easier ones. So when they brought out the popgi and they handed the contestants these little tins with the toffee inside with the little needle. And the people with the circle and the triangle had a much easier time than the people with the stars. And of course, the people with the umbrella had the nearly impossible task of breaking their shape free without damaging it. So that's Popkey, but what the heck does that have to do with fitness? Well, here it is. The game is simple, but it's not easy. And most fitness goals are the same way. We look at weight loss here. If you want to lose weight, you have to eat less than your body is burning every day. Eat less calories than your body requires every day if you want to lose weight. Simple. If you want to get stronger, you need to lift more weight than you did last week. Whatever you put on the bar last week, put 5 more pounds on this week and just keep doing that. It's simple. If you want to gain muscle, you need to lift progressively more weight for more reps and eat a caloric surplus and just keep doing that. It's pretty simple to gain muscle then, right? If you want to run faster, you just need to progressively run faster than you did last week and just keep doing that every week. The concept is simple. If you want to run farther, you just gradually increase the distance that you run each week. Every week, just run a little farther. If you want to get better at running farther, just run farther. It's that simple, right? But see, I know as you're listening to this, you've probably struggled with one or more of these. So you know now that just because the basic premise might be simple, it doesn't mean the actual work required is easy at all. Fitness goals are pretty simple. They're not easy at all. So looking at the Squid Game's challenge, the Popkey game, when you go throughout that episode, and again, I don't want to give away a ton of spoilers, and I'll try not to here if you haven't seen it yet, but I found 5 tips here from the Squid Game contestants that might help you in terms of going after one of those fitness goals. How do you go after something that is relatively simple yet complex? It's simple, but it's not easy to go after. Because eventually, if you just keep eating less food, you may get to a point of where your weight stalls. Because the less you eat and the less you weigh, the lower your metabolism gets. So you end up burning less calories, which means you need to figure out how to eat less or burn more. But then you're going to be tired because you're eating so few calories. You see where I'm going here. It gets difficult. So here are my 5 tips from the Squid Game contestants that will help you if you're trying to lose weight, get stronger, gain muscle, run faster, run farther, whatever your fitness goal is. The first tip here is you got to be patient. Now, they only had 10 minutes or so in the game on a clock, but the players that were just kind of slowly working away and not rushing the breaking of this toffee were the ones who were not breaking the cookie and then, of course, being eliminated from the game. So you have a lot more than 10 minutes. You have plenty of time to figure things out. But I tell you what won't work is jumping from one thing to the next, jumping from one program to the next, jumping from one diet to the next. That will get you nowhere. You have to be patient. You have to try something long enough to actually see if it's working for you and your body type. And that's my next tip here is you need to find out what works best for you and your shape. Now, shape can mean a couple different things here. We're talking about the shape of the cookie, but also your body type, and not necessarily even just the actual shape of your body, but your personal metabolism and how your body gains and loses weight, how your body gains and loses muscle. You have to do what works best for you. The person who had the strategy of scraping these straight lines on the triangle very quickly obviously had to go at that differently than the person who was trying to scrape the round edges or the bottom portion of the umbrella where you had to be more delicate. So depending on what your Popkey shape was, you had to use a different strategy in order to break that shape free. For you, you have to figure out what works for you. And just because something's working for somebody else doesn't mean it's going to work for you. And just because something didn't work for somebody else doesn't mean that it won't work for you. But you have to try something and you have to be patient with it and do it long enough to figure out if that's the thing that's working for you or not. When I did strongman and CrossFit, I trained very differently than the people I competed against. And I mean, I wasn't world class, but I was decently good at both of those. And I trained in a way that I knew I could train that wasn't going to hurt me, that I'd be able to recover from. I didn't have to eat the same way as other people ate. I slept more than other people slept. I trained a little bit less than other people trained. I trained a little bit lighter in certain areas and heavier in other areas. I had to find what worked for me and what my Popke shape was fitness-wise. So figure out what works for you in whatever one of these goals is and be patient with it. Then our third tip here, if it's working, don't stop. The people who had the pin, because there was a little pin that they were just scraping away at the Popke. And if you just keep scraping and scraping and scraping and scraping and scraping, you're going to get somewhere with that. But if you were scraping and it's working, and then you stopped and started working on another section, or you stopped scraping and thought, well, I'm just going to try to break this piece here. If it's working, don't stop. If you're in a fitness program and you are getting stronger and it's working for you, and someone says, well, you need to use muscle confusion because you need to surprise your muscles every time you come into the gym. No, you don't. If it's working, it's working. Same thing with your diet. If you have a way of eating that works for you, and I mean like works for you, not just is helping you lose weight, but also you're getting enough of your vitamins and minerals and you're recovering from your workouts well, and you aren't having any hormonal issues or anything like that. If your diet is working for you and you're losing weight and you feel great, then just keep going with it. Or the opposite, if you're trying to gain muscle and you're eating in a way that's helping you gain lean muscle mass, just keep doing it. If it's working for you, don't stop. Fourth tip here, think outside the box. Now, bit of a spoiler alert here, one contestant found that the best way that he could find to help break his shape free was, since the Popke is just a mixture of baking soda and sugar. In my research for this, I looked at a lot of recipes. It's just baking soda and sugar. So he found that if he licked the cookie, and if he just kept licking this cookie, that he could dissolve the sugar, and the lines that he already scraped would become thinner and thinner till he could eventually just break this kind of softer, keep calling it cookie, it's like toffee. He could break the toffee free if he licked the cookie. And that was outside the box, because typically you just scrape and then scrape and break until your Popke is free. But he found that if he licked this toffee, that he'd be able to get the shape out and he wouldn't end up breaking it because his shape was one of the harder ones. So sometimes you need to think outside the box. Again, just because something's working for somebody else doesn't mean that it's going to work for you. And so sometimes you have to do some things that maybe nobody else is doing. That was one of the things for me with CrossFit was I saw what everybody else was doing and saw the injury rates and how they were training and how beat up they were, and I was competing at the time, and I thought, well, we don't have to do it this way. I can still be really good at CrossFit and not train like any other CrossFitters that I knew. And it just took some different thinking to figure out that, this works better for me and it's working, so I'm not going to stop, and I'm just going to be patient and keep doing it this way, even though people aren't doing it the same way as me. And our fifth tip here is look to others for help. Once the one player started licking the cookie and people started realizing it, and there's this funny music that plays in the background when people start all licking their toffee at the same time, watch what other people are doing. If it's working for them, and if they are performing the way that you want to perform, or they are maybe eating in a way that you want to try to emulate, or they're losing weight and they have a similar body type as you. I want to be careful with this here, because just because you see stuff on social media does not mean it's healthy what these people are doing. But if you're looking to other people for help, and these are either qualified individuals or maybe your peers that you can get some honest feedback from, watch other people's techniques of how they're approaching their fitness goals, and try to see if you can get some help by talking to them about it, how they did it, what worked for them, so you can get some ideas to maybe help you, or just some encouragement, or just do what they're doing if they're doing well with it. Another thing that happened during this Squid Game that is an example of somebody helping somebody else out was one of the contestants using a lighter that she had kind of snuck into the game, and she heated up her needle so that she could melt the sugar on the toffee. And when she broke her shape free, she was able to give that lighter to somebody else. So here's an example, too, of getting some help from other people. And this could be a workout partner. This could be a coach. I mean, that's literally all we do at Straight Shot Training is we are a company of coaches looking to help people. And if you get some help, a lot of times if you are stuck where you're at with breaking that shape free of your fitness goal, you can get some help from somebody else. It could be a workout partner, it could be a coach, even just an accountability partner. They could be there with you. They could be on the other end of a Zoom call. They could be on an app. It's whatever you need to do. You do need to seek some outside help if you're stuck and you have tried everything and it's just not working for you. So 5 tips here. Be patient. Try what works for you. If it's working, don't stop. Think outside the box and look to others for help. So I'm going to keep this one a little bit shorter today. I still am not exactly sure what day it is because we have been working so hard at getting this studio open, and it is this mixture of tiredness and excitement that I just kind of roll around with all day long. But I'm absolutely loving every step of this process, even the frustrating, hard parts of it, because it's kind of like lifting. You know, at the bottom of a squat, when it's really heavy and it feels like it's burying you and you're pushing yourself up out of it, you get to the top and you're like, yeah, I did it, right? This is supposed to be difficult. If it was easy, it wouldn't be a PR. Well, that's kind of how I feel about us opening up this studio. So shout out co-owner Chris, who has been doing an incredible job pulling all of this together with the physical location. Shout out Coach Bailey, Coach Delaney, Coach John for all the work they're doing at this studio. And shout out to Coach Megan for the work that she's doing down in North Carolina, and to Dr. Garrett Fullen from Kinetics Physiotherapy for all the help that he gives us as well. So the whole Straight Shot Kinetics crew, you all are awesome. Thank you for helping me with all of this. Thank you to all of you for listening and being so supportive in the podcast and our content and our training in the studio. You all are awesome. I really appreciate you. If you would like to work with us again, straightshottraining.com. Whether you are in the Frederick or Mount Holly area or just anywhere in the world, we would love to help you out with whatever it is that you're working on. Again, the website for all that info is straightshottraining.com. You can find us on social media using the handle @straightshottraining. And again, our new studio is opening up on Wednesday, October 13th at 8411 Broadband Drive, Suite E in Frederick. Thanks again, and have a great week, everybody.